Hi guys, welcome back to Millennial Basics. Today I want to talk about how do I afford to travel and my tips and tricks on how to get cheap flights, cheap accommodations, and activities. So let's get started. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below on future videos you would like to see, or if you have any tips and tricks of your own that you would like to share. So before we get started, I want to clarify that I do have a full-time job, so I do have a consistent stream of income. I know some of you might be students or might not have a job at the moment, but I do make a video about how I used to travel when I was a student. So if you would like to see that video, leave a comment down below and let me know. So the first thing I want to talk about is how to get cheap or affordable flights. So this is how I usually do it. After searching for flights, I realized that there's two ways you can get the most affordable flights. One is being flexible with your destination, and two is being flexible with your dates. Because I have a full-time job, I cannot be flexible with my dates, but I can be flexible with my destination. So the first thing that I do, I go to skyscanner.com, I put my origin but leave the destination blank, and put my exact dates that I want to travel. And Skyscanner gives me a full list of places and their prices during that time. I choose the one that's the cheapest or the one that I really want to go to. Sometimes the ones that I really want to go to are too expensive, so I will choose something else. So after that, after I already chose my destination, I check on Google Flights and Momondo just to compare the prices on all sites to see which one gives me the best prices. Another way to get cheap flights is using points from credit cards or the miles you recruited with a certain airline. So let me know if you want me to talk a little bit more about that in a different video in the comments down below. So the next thing that can be a little more expensive is accommodations. Usually for accommodations, I tend to stay in hostels. I tend to find that the way that I travel is I'm barely at my accommodation. I only go at night just to sleep, and then I'm gone in the morning. So for me, it didn't make sense to get a very expensive Airbnb or hotel if I'm barely going to be there. The only thing with hostel is always have a lock so you can keep your belongings safe, even though, knock on wood, I never had an incident where my belongings went missing. The thing with hostels is some people think it's only in Europe. Not really. Here in the United States, we have a lot of hostels as well. I've stayed in hostel in New York, in Philadelphia, and Seattle. The way you can find if your destination has hostels is go to hostelworld.com, put your destination, and it will give you a list of hostels in the area. When I travel with friends or in a group, we do tend to get Airbnbs because it's a little more affordable when you're dividing the price between everyone. The next thing that can be a little expensive when traveling is the activities that you do. Usually what I do, I Google free walking tour in whichever destination I'm going, and most of the destinations have it. So what's a free walking tour? A free walking tour is a local that gives you a tour of your destination for free. Usually lasts between 2 hours to 3 hours to an hour and a half, and at the end of the tour you decide how much the tour was worth, how much you want to tip them, $10, $20, whatever you think the tour was worth. And it's a really good way of seeing the places and learning about your destination, and also they're local so they can give you recommendations of other things to do, other places to be. So another thing that I do sometimes, not very often, is go on Groupon and see if any of the activities are on discount and get a pass from there. The only thing with activities is that I don't really spend much money on activities unless there's a certain activity that I really want to do. The only time that I could think of that I spent a little more on activities, it was going to Thailand and doing, the Fifi tours and doing Elephant Sanctuary. But other than that, all my other destinations, I barely spent any money on activities. I usually try to find free walking tours, Groupon, or I just walk around and absorb the place. That's how I like to travel. I'm not a very luxurious traveler, as you can see. Another thing to save money on is on transportation. Usually when I travel, I try to use the local transportation as much as I can. Usually places like New York or London have really good transportation. London better than New York, but they have really good local transportation that you can use: trains, buses. Google Maps is a very good tool to use to just see the how to get to a place. You choose the local transportation symbol and it gives you a list of trains, buses, and how to transfer, where to transfer. It's a good way to look at how you can get there with local transportation, and you will save a lot of money. A lot of places do have Uber. Some of them are cheaper, some of them are more expensive. It depends on the way you like to travel. I also walk around a lot. One time I walked in New York. I walked all the way from the Height Line all the way to Central Park. It took me about 30 minutes, but it was a good way to see the city and see different neighborhoods and get a feel for it. So if you like that kind of stuff, that's how you can save money on it too. Do it. Also, when it comes to food, I only splurge on one meal a day. So for breakfast, I either eat it in the hostel if they have breakfast, or I just go to the gas station and get something pretty cheap. I'm usually not a breakfast person, so that's that. I also, for lunch, go to a very cheap places found it on Yelp, or I go to a grocery store and get groceries and eat get groceries that I could just eat and do that and splurge for dinner. So I either splurge for lunch or splurge for dinner. Also, walking away from touristy destination is going to be your best friend. Usually touristy destinations are way more expensive and the food is not as good as if you were walking 2 blocks down the road, and you might be able to find cheaper food and better. And if you see locals in there, I believe it's a good choice for you to go in there and eat. So that's it, guys. That's how I afford to travel. My biggest tip for you is, when we really want to do something, we find a way to do it. When we really put our minds to it and we decide that we want to do something, we can be very determined and do it. So for 2020, if you want to travel more, be determined, manifest it if you believe in manifestation, which I do, and you will be able to travel too. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you'd like to see in the next video. Let me know what you'd like to see on the next video, and have a good day. Bye.